Welcome back to another No Rucks Given video. So today we're diving into probably the biggest controversy in British and Irish Lions rugby. The so-called nepotism row around Andy and Owen Farrell. Is it a fair criticism? Or is it just rugby politics being rugby politics? Let's break it down. So, the call-up. Owen Farrell has made a surprise return to the British and Irish Lions squad. A move that has left, a lot of people scratching their heads, especially after a very patchy Six Nations and a break from international rugby. You know, he hasn't had the best of times since the Rugby World Cup in 2023. He's getting a bit up there in age. So why call him up? There were far better players, in my personal opinion, that should have been called up ahead of him. That could have covered what he is supposedly going to cover and what he's supposedly going to do for the team. So why make that call up? Surely Andy knew that this was going to go viral. I mean, of course it is. Calling up your son when he's not the first choice, possibly even in England anymore. So look, some people aren't holding back. There's been a plethora of articles and videos made about it where people are just losing their minds. Why would you call him up? A lot of people are accusing Andy Farrell of favouring his own son, giving him that last chance to play for the British and Irish Lions. You know, it's reignited a couple of age-old debates of, you know, can family and leadership mix in professional sport? Now, they've never really played on or been a part of the same team, the same setup. But when you see it happen in other instances, it doesn't go well. You know, it's always that thing of, but I've got a personal relationship with you. So for me, it's going to be a bit different. I'm going to see it a bit differently. So I'm going to call you out. I'm going to talk back to you. So is it going to be a good thing when this British and Irish Lions squad really needs to gel, especially coming up to the second test and then the final test next week? You know, is it causing too much off-field nonsense that is preventing everyone from focusing on why they're actually there, to play the game of rugby? So look, not everyone is buying into the drama. Luke Cowan-Dickie has stepped up and defended Owen, you know, saying he's earned his place and he brings leadership that nobody else can match. And I think that's a very important thing. And I think it's often overlooked. And I've spoken about it with what I think Rassie is doing with Billy Leroux. Yes, it's not quite the same thing because, I mean, the Lions have 2 weeks left and then they don't come back together for another 4 years until they tour again. So he doesn't quite have the time to set up this mentorship role. However, you cannot look past his level of experience, what he brings to the game, or what he's done in the game over the last decade. That just means you can slot him in and you know he'll be able to play. I think that's where Andy is looking at it from. Yes, there's some far more impressive players, and they're flashy, and they've had better seasons, and probably still deserve to be called up. But in such a short turnaround, like the British and Irish Lions tour, you just need someone that can hit the ground running, that can just play. You know, stats don't lie. Owen has 112 caps for England. You know, he's England's top point scorer. He's put in the hard yards. He really plays for his country, and let's not forget, he's played for the British and Irish Lions before and played phenomenally well. So can you just look past current form for a player that has this kind of legacy and experience and leadership? I think yes, and I think that is what they are banking on. It is in the second test, he's coming off the bench. And what better player to have on the pitch in the final 10 minutes where the game is potentially going down to the wire, and you can believe that they're going to take the game by the scruff of the neck and say, right, slow it down. This is what we do. This is how we win this test. Look, he's one of the most experienced and accurate goal kickers in world rugby. So, because he's been there before for England, he's been there before for the British and Irish Lions. I don't think you can. I don't think you can take that away from him, regardless of the current form. So, maybe there's a bigger problem. Maybe this isn't just about Owen and Andy selecting Owen. Maybe it's more about the trust in the selection process. You know, Lions have been frustrated, and Lions fans have been frustrated with some of the selections, some of the weird strategies, and some mixed messages that have sort of been coming out of this Lions camp over the last couple of weeks, especially since the initial call up for the squad. So, is it that this call up of Owen is just reigniting what people have been worrying about? You know, they haven't lost a test yet, although First Nations really put them under the gun earlier this week. So, are they worried about a potential nepotism call up affecting the players' focus on the game and then potentially losing the second test? Let me know what you think. Is it just favoritism? Is it just smart rugby selection? Let me know what you think in the comments. Has Owen's legacy secured him that call up? Or should they have looked at a few more things instead of Dad just saying, "How's my boy, come and play for me"? This has been No Rucks Given. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.